Story RH, the podcast that makes a long story short.
Welcome to all.
History is made of stories.
In this episode, we'll be talking about the main types of HRIS architecture.
Some people think a human resources information system is just payroll software. They don't realize it's a lot more complex.
Not only does an HR information system cover a much wider range of human resources processes than just payroll, but it's first and foremost a system, which is, by definition, a complex concept.
Like any system, it has its own properties and architecture, and although there can in theory be all kinds of architectures, some are more common than others. So, what are the main types of HRIS architecture? What's the story?
The architecture refers to the way the HR applications that make up the human resources information system are organized, the way they interact between one another, and with other internal and external information systems. The architecture can have several properties, including the extent to which it is integrated.
Which brings us to the first main type of HRIS architecture. An integrated architecture. Integrated means all of the HR processes covered by the HRIS are included in a single software package, a sort of all-in-one human resources information system.
This type of architecture lets us choose between an ERP that covers not just all of the HR processes but also all of the company's processes, and a generic HR system that covers only HR processes.
In both cases, everything is built into a single system with a shared database. The same key concepts, the same application rules, the same repositories, and the same lower application layers like safety and workload management. That's an integrated architecture.
A best-of-breed architecture is just the opposite. Taken to the extreme, we're talking about a separate software application for each HR process. It comes down to choosing bespoke applications to create an HRIS from a multitude of specific software applications, all of which come together to create a sort of patchwork system.
That naturally gives rise to the question of which is the master application, along with the way data is shared between applications, the interfaces between the different HRIS components, any shared repositories, and so on. It's a house of cards, which can meet individual needs more effectively but is naturally more complex, especially when it comes to keeping it running over time.
We often come across two derivatives of this type of best-of-breed system. Either it's built around a data warehouse that all of the applications connect to, or the payroll management software ends up being that epicenter and, in a way, sets the rules.
Between these two extremes, between the totally integrated and best-of-breed architectures, there are various degrees of integration. We call them hybrid architectures.
It's not uncommon to see an architecture that has one shared system for administrative processes, where productivity is key, along with one or more other systems alongside that to cover HR development processes, which require more flexibility and customization to meet specific cultural requirements.
This type of hybrid architecture raises questions in terms of data sharing, repositories, and so on, and who has control over the system.
The fourth main type of architecture relates to the international environment.
In an international business environment, payroll is the main problem. It's inherently complex but also closely linked to specific local requirements.
The idea of a fully integrated system, being able to adapt to payroll conditions the world over, while ensuring the required level of quality, cost-effectiveness, and performance, is a bit of a pipe dream.
So, the architecture that often emerges in this case involves handling payroll locally, using different methods but with a minimum set of shared standards to enable reporting and promote visibility across the group, along with a single talent management application to promote a more seamless, balanced corporate culture.
That also generally includes a few basic HR processes used worldwide, such as hiring protocols, for instance. That's what we call core HR. Either a data warehouse is the epicenter of the overall system or that particular role goes to a talent management application.
To recap, there are as many HRIS architectures as there are companies, but there are four basic types. 1. An integrated architecture, in which everything is included in one software package. 2. A best-of-breed architecture, in which you have a collection of different software applications used to handle HR processes. 3. A hybrid architecture, which combines an administrative platform with a few other tools for HR development. 4. An international architecture with local payroll systems and an integrated talent management application. Is that right?
Exactly right. Way to make a long story short.
Story RH, the podcast that makes a long story short.